to the class, the first thing you need to do is you need to go to aplusstudents.com. You need to go to the website and you need to log in. Once you are on the website, you need to select math as your subject. Okay, this is a grade 4 lesson and the name of the topic is decimals. I'll give you the chapter number and the lesson number. The chapter number is, just a moment, chapter number 10 and lesson number 8. So Jaime, just a moment please, let me just confirm. We are doing chapter number 10, lesson number 8, okay? So chapter number 10, lesson number 8, and the name of the lesson is rounding or round decimals. Okay, we will be looking at how to round off decimal numbers. Before moving on to the question, let's see what are the conditions for rounding off a number, right? We know that the numbers, if the number is ending, the last position is 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, right? Or let's suppose if it's this position, 0 we usually don't change. This means we round down. It's nearer to the smaller value, right? But if the numbers are 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, right? What we do is we round up. And we know that in a decimal number, from the decimal position, the next number is, this number would be ones, right? This was tens. This would be hundreds, 100, right? And on the other side, the numbers would be, after the decimal, this is tens. Then ending with THS, right? The numbers ending with THS are always, yes, this is grade 4. Okay. Hi, Sunny. Okay. So what we are looking over here is a decimal number would be given depending on their place values, the position. Maybe it's on 100, it's a tens, it's ones, tens, or hundreds, or thousands, right? After hundreds is 1000 with the THS, right? After the decimal. We would see whether we need to do the rounding up or rounding down. Okay, let's start off with the questions. Okay, the first question says, I'll just copy the question. What is 5.75? Okay, the first question we have is this, and it says round it off to the nearest. Just a moment. Okay, what is 5.75 rounded off to the nearest tenth? Okay, so what is the digit in the 10th position? Can we say if the number given was 5.75, right? We can say that in the 10th position, 7 is in the 10th position because it ends with a th, right? So now what we need to see is 7 nearer to round, is 7 should be rounded up or rounded down? Since 5 stays as it is, if this is 77 over here, 7 is nearer to 75, 7 would be nearer to 8, right? And what we do is we remove all the digits on this side. That means 7 becomes simply 8. We are rounding up to the 8th position, right? And this would be 7 means it's rounded up because 7 lies in 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9. Any of these digits would round up the number. Do we agree? Yes, 5.8 or 5.80. Or you can write 5.80 is also correct. But preferable is this because we are using it to either of them would be correct. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, May. Let's go back to the next question. So the next question we have is, what is 7.594? It is 594. Let's see. It's 3 decimal places. And this is to the nearest 100. Let's see what would be the rounding off to the nearest 100 for question number 2. I'll rewrite the numbers. 7.59 and 4, right? We have to look at hundredths position, right? So 9 is on the hundredths position. 9 would round up or round down. We know that 9 rounds up, right? Sorry. Do we agree? Yes. Because 4 over here was smaller. That 4 round downs, right? 4 round downs, that becomes a 0. And we need to do it to the nearest 100 position. Who gave the answer? Just a moment, please. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Semi. Then this becomes 7.59 because this position will round down. That means it becomes a 0, or you can simply write this as 7.590. Okay. Thank you, Sami. Moving on ahead to the next question. What is 4.1 rounded to the nearest whole number? So when we are rounding off to the nearest whole number, that means it should be either 4 or it should become either 5. So we look at the decimal place. For question number 3, this was 4.1. If the number given to us was 4.1, and 4.1 can also be written as 4.10, right? This one means it's a 1 over here, and 1 always rounds down, right? So what we do over here is we round down. That means, okay, I'll just explain something over here. If this is a number line given to us, okay, a number line is where numbers are given. Let me just explain, right? If this number was 4 and this number was 5, right? And how many partitions we can have in the middle? 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4. If this was 4.5, this is 4.6, 7, 8, and 9, and 5 over here, okay? So the given question was 4.1. This value was given to us. This was 4.1. If we need to round it off to the nearest whole number, right? So we need to see what is 4.1 close to. Is 4.1 close to 4, or is 4.1 close to 5? We can see that 4.1 is closer to, yes, thank you, May, Sevi, and Baruch. We can say that 4.1 will become 4.0, or we can also write 4 as the whole number, and that would be our answer. Okay, we can write 4.0 or 4. Moving ahead to the next question. So the next question says, what is 4.529? Sorry, just a moment, please. 4.529 rounded off to the nearest tenth. Let me just copy question number 4. Okay. We need to round it off to the nearest tenth, right? Let's write down the number. The number was 4.529, right? So if we need to round it off to the nearest 10th position, right? This was 10th. This needs to be rounded. So we look at the next number. So the next number after 10th was 2. And since 2 is on the lower part, right? That means this was round down. So the answer will become, rounding down means it does not affect the number before it. It will not make any change over here. And all the numbers afterward, this would become 0, which can also be written as 4.5. Agreed? No. See, I'll do it again. I'll explain it again. May, what the question is saying, what is 4.5? Let's do this again. Wait, let's focus. Okay. The question was 4.529, right? So we need to round it off to the which position? To the 10th position. 1 minute. I'll just copy this part. We know that. I'm just copying it so that we know the positions over here. Okay. We know that 10th is right after the decimal, right? The position of 10th is right after the decimal. So we need to round it off to the 10th position, right? So we need to see, we need to retain the number after the decimal. So if we need to keep the number after the decimal first decimal place, we look at the second decimal number. That is 2. So 2 means 2 will round down. That means round down means 2 becomes a 0 and all the numbers with after 2 becomes a 0. That means 2 will not affect 5. So it stays as 4.5. Okay? Do we agree? No. The Semi, the answer that you are giving is no, Baruch. Semi and Baruch. Okay, I'll just give you an example. Okay, I'll just recopy this question and I'll show you what difference is there. Okay, if I say this would be my question number 5, nearest. Okay, question number 5, and if I say 100th, let's look at the questions, right? Because this question number 4, there was tens, and question number 5, I did to the 100th position. Okay, let's look at the difference between these two questions. If in this question, if I say 4.529, 2, and 9, right? Which position is the 100th position? 2 is at 100th position, right? The 2 is at 100th position. Agreed. That means we need to round off to the 100. That means we need to keep the 100, right? So what is after the 100? After the 100 is the 1000th position, right? So what we need to consider is, if we need to retain till 100, we need to look at the 1000th position, the next number after the 100. Okay. Over here, the next number after the 100 was 9 on the 1000th position, right? This is 9. 9 means this would round up the number before it. That means it would give a +1, right? To the number before it. So can we say that this becomes 4.5 stays as it is? Since this was 9, 9 makes the number on the 100th position to be 3. Okay. Now we can understand the difference, because the previous question was to the 10th. If it's the 10th, then we look at the 100th value, one after the 10th. Okay. If it's the 100th position, if we need to round it off till the 100th, right? Then we look at the 1000th value, the next value. Okay. Okay. Let's pick up more options. Let's see. Let's do similar questions. Let's have a look at the next question. For the next question, it says, what is this to the nearest? Okay. Whole number. The next question says, what is 6? Okay, let me just change the number. Okay, I'll just keep this as this number. Okay, to the nearest whole number. What is 6.66 to rounded off to the nearest whole number? We know that when we are looking at the number that was 6.6 and 6, right? A whole number means we are looking at ones, right? We need to keep the ones. Okay, that means we look at the number that is after the ones. This was 6. 6 would always round up. Agreed. That means this will add 1 to this number, rounding up. And finally, the answer would become 7.0. Okay, or a 7. Okay, okay, Semi. Yes, maybe. See, because I am solving the question also, and I am reading your chats also, right? So maybe I get delayed. If it's correct, I say correct, right? Maybe there's a lapse, okay? So let's focus, okay? So do we agree on question number 6? Do we agree on question number 6? If 6.66 was rounded off to the nearest whole number, we can say that if we try to draw it on a number line means a line which shows two different numbers. See, we can have a 6 over here, we can have a 7 over here, in the middle 6.5. So can I say 6.66 would be over here, right? So 6.66 is nearer to, is it nearer to 6 or is it nearer to 7? So 6.66 was nearer to 7, right? That means it equals to 7. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sami. Okay. For the next question we have, so the next question says, what is 3.86? Okay, rounded off to the nearest whole number. For the next question, this is the given information. Let me just paste it. What is 3.86 rounded off to the nearest whole number? For question number 7. Semi, this was 6.66, right? If we need to round it off to the whole number, we need to look at the next position. After ones, what is the position? We need to look at tenths. Tenths was a 6, right? Yes, thank you, May. That means in the previous, yes. Yes, thank you, Baruch. May, this, thank you for the next question, question number 7. If this was 3.86, we need to make it a whole number. What we need to make it? We need to go till ones. If we need to go till ones, we look at the 10th position, right? We look at the 10th position. And 10th position will round up because this is an 8. So it will round up the number before it and we simply add 1 to it. That means it becomes 4.0, or we can write a 4 as the final answer. Okay? Yes. Thank you. So moving ahead to the next question, let's see what is 7.45. Just a moment, please. Let me copy paste. Question number 8. Okay. This is our question number 8, and it says, what is 7.45? Let's say 7.45 to which position? Nearest 10th. This is our 10th position, right? So if we need to round off till 10th, we need to look at, yes, thank you, Sami. Thank you, Baruch. Let's move ahead. Thank you, May. So in the next question, if we need to remove to the nearest 10th, right? Round it to the nearest 10th. That means we need to keep the 10th. If we need to keep the 10th, we'll need to look at the next number after 10th. Next number after 10th is 100th. Right? 100th position. Will the 100th position round up or round down? It is 5. And we know that if the numbers are between 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, we round down. And if the numbers are between 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, we round up. So the number over here was 5 that we need to consider on the 100th position. That means 5 will round up this. That means 1 is added to the next number. Therefore, the answer will come out to be 7.45 will become 7.5. Do we agree on question number 8 that this will become 7.5? No, May. this cannot be 35, right? The original question was 7.45 rounded off to the nearest 10th. Which position is 10th? 10th is the number right after decimal, right? Do we agree? So if we need to round off the number to the 10th position, we need to maintain one decimal place. We need to have one number after the decimal, right? So we look at the next number, that is the second position. If the question was given as 7.45, we need to do till the 10th. We need, see, the question says over here, rounded to the nearest 10th, right? So that means we need to keep the 10th. So we look at the next value, that is the 100th. We always look at the next value, that is the 100th, right? If we need 10th, we look at the next value, that is the 100th. 100th was a 5. And we know that if the 100 was a 5, we round up. That means 5 will become a 0 and 1 will be added to the number before 5. Do we agree on this? Or I'll do another example. Do we agree? Do we agree on this? That 7.45 when rounded off to the nearest 10th will become 7.5, or you can write 7.50, or you can write 7.5. This will be the answer. Do we agree? Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay. For the next question says, if 7.815 is rounded off to, let's have a look. This was the question given to us. And what they are saying is, if 7.815 was rounded off to the nearest 100th position, right? Let me copy the numbers first. See, this is 7.81 and 5, right? So we need to round it off to the nearest 100th position. We know that the first position would be, this was ones, sorry, ones was here. This is ones, 10th, right? This is hundredths. If we need to round off to the nearest 100th, we don't have to look at 100th. We have to look at the next number after 100. That is the thousandth position, right? If we have to do till 100, we look at the number that is after the 100. That is this number. So this number, what will it do? This is a 5. Will 5 round up the next number or round down? Since 5 is here, we say that this will round up the number before it. That means plus 1 to the number before it. And we can say it becomes 7.8. 1 plus 1 is 2, 0. Or we can simply say 7.82 is the final answer. Okay? Do we agree? So when it says 10th, we look at the 100th. When it says round off to the, in question number 9, it says round off to the nearest hundredth. When we are rounding up the 100, we look at the next number, that is the thousandth. Okay. Okay, let's try a few more examples. So the next question we have is just telling us what is 6.492 rounded off to the nearest. Just a moment, let me copy this first. Yes, thank you, May. If this is the question given to us and they are asking us to round off to the nearest whole number, question number 10. Okay, so what we can write is 6.49 and 2. Need to round this off to the nearest whole number. So when we need to do it nearest whole number, we need to look at the numbers before the decimal, right? We need to round it off to the nearest one. So what we need to look at is tens position. Okay. So the tens would be since the value of tens was 4. And we know that if it's a 4, we round down. Agreed? That means what we can say is we are rounding it down. Agreed? That means it does not make any difference to the number before it. So we can write this as 6.0 or we can write 6 as the final answer. Okay, let's give it a try. For the next question, I'll leave the next question to you. Please try this. Okay, for the next question, it says, keeping these questions in mind, let's try this. Okay. This is our question number 11. Okay. Can I be excused for a minute? Just a minute, a few seconds. Okay. Thank you. Try question number 11. Give me an answer. Just a few seconds. Thank you. Okay, so we know that we have a 9 as the answer. Very good. Because 9 is on the whole number position. Agreed? Thank you for the answer. So can we say that 8? I'm just doing it. Doing the question, your answer is perfectly correct, right? If we need to look at the whole number, so we need to see the ones. If we need to round it off to the ones, then we need to consider the tens position. Would tens round up or round down? Since this is a 7, that we can say this will round up. Rounding up means we add 1 to the number previous before it, right? That means it becomes, we can write this as 9.0 or we can simply write this as 9 as the answer. Okay, Very good. Thank you. Moving ahead to the next question. It says, what is 2.56 rounded off to the nearest tenth? Okay, let's do question number 12. Okay. And it says, what is 2.56 rounded off to the nearest tenth? So if we need to see 2.56 and we need to round it off to the nearest tenth, this is the tenth position, right? We need to round it off to the tens. That means we need to keep the tens. Then we look at the number after the tens. That is the hundredths position. Right? Would the hundredths position round up? Yes, thank you, Semi. This would round. Yes, your answer is correct. Round up. That means we add 1 to this and everything after this becomes a 0. So can we say this becomes 2.60 or simply we write 2.6? Thank you, Sami. Okay. Okay. If I would say for the next question, they're asking us, what is 6.2 rounded off to the nearest whole number? Okay. Let's see. What is 6.2 rounded to the nearest whole number? This is our question number 13. Yes. In question number 13, it says 6.2, right? That means we need to round it off to the whole number. We need to round it off to the ones position. Oh, thank you so much, Simi. That means we need to look at the tens position. And this would, you don't have to write everything that I'm writing, right? I'm just writing round up, round down and everything just to explain it to you people. So this becomes 6.0 or we can simply write 6 as the answer. Yes, 6.0 or 6 is the correct answer. Your answer is correct. For the next question, it says, what is 1.332? Rounded off to the nearest hundredth position. Let's have a look. This is our question number 14. So what we can say in this question is, we can write the numbers 1.33 and 2. We need to do the 100th position, right? So we know the location. This was 10th. This was the 100th. So in order to round it off to that 100, we need to consider the 1000th position. We need to look at the 1000th position. And what is at 1000th position? There is 2 at the 1000th position. The 2 will not round up because since it's a 2, see what we need to retain is we need to retain to the nearest 100th, right? That means we have to keep the 100th position. So we look at the number after the 100, that is 1000. So since this is a 2 over here, the 2 is less, 2 always rounds down. That means 2 cannot affect the number before it. 2 will not change the number before it. That means 1.330, or we can simply say 1.33 is the answer. Agreed? Let's try the last question, then let's go to the test. Okay. For the number given, that is 8.2. Just a moment, please. I'll recopy this. Let's do one question before the test. Question number 15. They are telling us what is 8.286 rounded off to the nearest whole number. That means we need to round it off to the ones position, right? We need to round it off to the ones. Then which value do we need to consider? We need to consider the tens position. Agreed? If we need to round it off to ones, we look at the next position, that is the tens. And what is the value of tens? The value of tens was a 2, and we know that whenever we have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 0, we round down. So for this we would round down. That means this number will not make an effect on the number previous. No, Baroque and Aiken. We are doing it to the whole number. The whole number is basically ones position, right? This is round down. That means this number 2 will not add anything to this number, right? That means if it's rounding down, see, let's look at the previous. This was a 2 over here. When it was rounded down, it became a 0. And the numbers before it stays the same, right? So whenever, no, this is 8.2. So 2 is rounding down, right? That means 2 becomes a 0. And the numbers before this number stay as it is. And all of these numbers become a 0. Do we agree? See, you want me to do, I'll do it again. Okay, let's do it again. I'll cancel this. It's written as 8.28 and 6. They're asking us to round off to the whole number. Whole number is always the position of ones. Hi Rowan, welcome. This is ones, right? So in order to round off the ones, we look at the next number, that is tens. Agreed? Wait, Baroque. We are discussing, right? No, Baroque, your answer will be correct when they would say round off to the nearest hundreds. But in this case, they are asking us to round off to the nearest whole number. So that means after the ones, what is the position? Tens. We look at this number. We always look at the next number, right? Like in the previous question, they asked us to the 100th. They are in the previous question, they asked for the nearest 100, right? But if we were rounding off to the nearest 100, what did we focus on? We focused on the 1000. Next number, right? What are we focusing on? We are focused. See, in 8.286, they're asking us to make this number as a whole number, right? This is the whole number position, right? So we look at the tens position. What will 2 do? 2 will round down. That means it will not affect the number before it. It cannot affect the number before it, right? That means if it's not affecting the number before it, what will happen? This 2 becomes a 0, and the numbers before this stay as it is. Do we agree on this? Because we have to round it off to the whole number. This part is the initial part. This part is whole number, right? So if we need to do it to whole number, we look at the next position after the whole number. What is the next position after whole number? That is the tens. So we look at tens. What will tens do to the whole number? Okay, let's look at question number 13. Yes, Birok. Let's look at question number 13. I'll just highlight it. I'm just doing similar examples, okay? For question number 13, what are this telling us? What is 6.2 rounded to the nearest whole number? So we had to round off to the whole number, right? That means we had to round off to the ones. That means we look at the next number after the ones. That is tens. So tens was 2. So that means it's rounded down. So therefore we could say 6 stayed as it is, and this 2 became a 0. Same thing happens over here. This was a 2. That means round down, we make it a 0, and this value of 8 stays as it is. Okay, that becomes 8.0. Okay, okay, you take care. I'll end the lesson here. Best of luck. Take care. Just go through the lesson again. Okay, just go through the last few options to go through the video again if you have any problems. Okay, take care. Have a nice day. Bye. Thank you. Yeah, that's correct. 8.0.